Strategy formulation is the most thoughtful stage in the strategic management process. This is where managers gather data and observations about their competitive context and their own firms, develop options for strategic actions, then think through and select among those alternatives, finally figuring out how to pursue those courses of action. In the most rational sense, these activities can be broken down into two primary categories: analysis and planning. Doing a great job with analysis and planning requires not only left brain power, but also creativity, insight, and a little bit of gumption. The best strategic managers are able to muscle through the data analysis, put a finger on the pulse of broader competitive contexts, and then build creative responses to strategic challenges and opportunities. And remember that managers construct lots of different types of strategies within the strategic management process. Formulation is not singular, linear, or an event, but an ongoing, multidimensional perspective on decision-making. It should be based in the firm's business definition and clearly grounded in the firm's goals and objectives. But from there, it's diverse. Managers from the bottom of an organization to the top make plans based on lots of different types of information, and these plans should then shape all aspects of the organization's actions. And since managers are constantly taking in information about their environments and businesses, and make plans through their decisions every day, we can say that formulation never really ends. I've reinserted this slide from the Introduction to Strategy presentation. This is to remind us that strategy formulation takes place under multiple contexts. Great strategic decisions make sense from many perspectives, not just one or two. For instance, a strategic decision that fits with the firm's strengths and addresses opportunities in the marketplace, but does not resonate with the beliefs or the desires of the firm's leaders, is likely, upon hindsight, to make economic sense but receive little or fleeting support. One of the most popular, perhaps overused tools in strategy formulation is the SWOT analysis. It is widely used because it is extremely simple and it can be applied to many situations. The SWOT analysis begins when managers identify internal strengths and weaknesses, which typically center on things like a firm's product and service portfolios, pricing relative to competitors, and service levels, and external opportunities and threats such as moves by competitors, customer demands, and challenges in dealing with suppliers. But because it is really just a listing exercise, the SWOT analysis is best used for brainstorming. It can be very helpful for managers to get issues on the table, but its value as a strategy formulation tool is really limited. SWOT analyses can get off on tangents when the lists get crowded with insignificant or irrelevant factors, or when managers confuse opportunities which exist in the present with potentialities or factors that might arise in the future. And sometimes it's difficult to understand the ramifications of some factors listed in the SWOT. For instance, the very loud roar of a Harley-Davidson motorcycle could be considered both a strength, in that it is a distinctive, as well as a weakness, in that it annoys a lot of people at the same time. Last and most importantly to strategy formulation, the SWOT is not good at comparing the elements of one firm's SWOT to those at competitors. This is a big problem when the strengths at one firm are nearly identical to the strengths of its competitors. If that's the case, then those strengths really don't carry any strategic importance. They're just the price of entry into an industry, but not a differentiator. In the end, while the SWOT analysis is a helpful brainstorming tool, it has little to offer in terms of making great strategic decisions. For those next steps, we need more rigorous tools. In this course, we will cover 4 different areas of analysis. Again, recall that our definition of strategic management is a process for making decisions that will lead to superior organizational performance. Strategic analysis models are key to this process. They allow managers to go beyond their gut feelings and common sense when making strategic choices. They add rigorous frameworks for gathering data, transforming that data into useful information, and then understanding the implications of that information for the firm and what it wants to achieve. Industry analysis focuses on elements that exist outside a firm's boundaries, or elements that the firm typically can't control that may influence its performance. We'll use the PEST framework and Porter's 5 forces model here. Distinctiveness examines how firms stand out in their marketplaces or create competitive separation from their competitors. Our study of distinctiveness will focus on the resource-based view of the firm. Value configurations examine how firms create processes and activities in order to bring great products and services to the market. The most well-known of the value configurations is the value chain, but we'll add a couple more to it. And finally, organization design focuses on creating structures, systems, and cultures within an organization so that its people can be excellent contributors to a firm's strategic initiatives. The models that we'll cover in this class are not the only models for conducting strategic analysis. In fact, they might not even be the best models for your company. There are innumerable ways of conducting the analysis necessary to make great decisions, but in learning about these models, you should get a feel for how strategic analysis is done. Strategic analysis leads to strategic plans. In a perfect world, the strategies that result from analysis would work exactly as forecasted. Unfortunately, strategic decisions are notoriously hard to make in the first place. Rapid, disruptive innovations, changing demands, moved by competitors, economic shifts, among many other factors, all make it difficult for managers to predict how strategic decisions will actually play out. Ironically, it is therefore perfectly rational for managers to expect that some of their strategic decisions will not work out. That is, we should predict that things will not go as planned. As such, the best strategic planning processes allow managers to move away from prior decisions that are just not working out and move into other initiatives as they emerge. This is known as strategic agility or adaptability, and firms that are flexible enough to allow on-the-fly changes are much more likely to keep their strategies in line with market demands than those that are more rigid. To close, strategy formulation is a process by which managers conduct analyses of important factors within their firms and in their business environments, and then make plans based on those analyses. The best strategic decisions are those that account for all of the context that underlie a firm's strategic initiatives. To make these decisions, managers must go beyond the basics of the SWOT analysis and utilize much more rigorous analytical tools. But even then, even great strategic plans based on excellent analysis don't always work out as intended. The most successful firms are those that are agile and adaptable, adding flexibility to their planning processes.